We should officially start anyway, so you're good. Okay. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Jason Wirt,
Here.
Tiffany Gant, here, Tony Bevel.
Here.
Lori Libel,
Here.
Lisa Patterson. Here. Diane Foster, here, Mike Smith.
Here.
You.
All right, so approval of minutes. In the packet, anybody have any comments? Corrections? Hearing none, take a motion to approve. Approve the minutes as presented. I'll second. Any comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So on to business, we got staff introductions. Looks like Jason's actively connecting, so.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for letting me call in through Zoom. That's great.
We got on just in time to introduce yourself. So we're on the staff introductions agenda item. So you enjoy, I guess, get to introduce yourselves.
I'm Jason Waters, the city engineer. I'm new city engineer. I've been in the position for, I think, 8 weeks now. So thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
All right, so Jason has been with the city for a long time. He just has a new capacity as far as the new city engineer, taking over Bob's spot within this committee. So with that, I'm Joy Chang. I am currently, my official position is a senior planner in the planning division. So I focus on long range planning. So I'm really looking at like Sherman West as far as that planning and a lot of middle housing work that's been mandated to us by the state. But the reason why I'm actually sitting now and participating within this committee, I'm actually a Safe Routes to School coordinator. That was my capacity before with Washington County when we first started implementing the Safe Routes to School program. And I was with the county for a good 16 years. But I've been with the city for 5 years, almost 6 years now. Wow, time flies. And so it just made sense. It's my understanding that the goal is to have an agreement with the school district to acknowledge partnership in regards to Safe Routes to School. So hopefully we can move that forward and actually implement the program. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Joy, for helping with my introduction. Yes, I've been with the city since 2006. Thank you.
I had a question for you, Safe Routes to School related. So has the city not received Safe Routes to School grants in the past?
Not the city, no. But I was with Washington County before, and we were able to tap in towards some grants in regards to infrastructure improvements, that aspect of it. But again, the county's, really big, and they're really on top of identifying capital improvements that are pedestrian only versus vehicle. And they've allocated a specific amount within their budget just to do those improvements. So one of the key things, fortunately and unfortunately, yes, there are funding for Safe Routes to School out there as far as infrastructure funding. But the sad part is that, what city of Sherwood typically can't meet the criteria of the local match. The local match is typically 40%, but it can get reduced to 20%. If we have a Title I school, which is a school that it has, at least half, free lunch students. I mean, it's fortunate that we don't have that, but it's unfortunate for us because then we have to have 40% local match. And typically what we would end up doing is partnering with the school district to see if they can put half of that 40%. That aspect of it. And typically is cash and also in kind, meaning like my services, all the time that I would spend could also count towards that local match. But one example that I have, as I know with all of the redistricting with the new high school and the new middle school and the shifting of the students, one particular improvement that we were considering is along Meineke and Washington Street, along Stella Olson Park, where it's just sidewalks. But the unfortunate part, that sidewalk is not just a simple 5-foot sidewalk per se. There's a lot of grade issues and things like that, where the improvements were over $400,000. So if we're looking at 40% of $400,000, that's significant. Even half of that, 20% for the school district and 20% for us. It's a significant chunk.
So your role as a Safe Routes to School coordinator is new. Or is it sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. And the only
That's
reason why I'm doing it is because I had all this experience before at Washington County. And so what we have done already, in the past 5 years, we've had a walk to school day. So at Archer Glen, as far as the engagement aspect of it. But ultimately, our goal is to do like action plans for each individual schools and identify what infrastructure safety needs are needed for that particular school, like better crossings, that aspect of it, or whatever it might be. But it is a collaborative effort with the school district. And so we're looking forward to signing some type of an agreement or resolutions that says that the school district prioritizes the program, but also city council prioritizes it too.
If there's ever an opportunity, I guess, that any of the staff see for us or one or more of us to represent the traffic safety committee to the council to express support for funding for something like this. I know I personally would be more than willing to do that. I don't want to speak for everybody on this. You guys can chime in if you want, but I know you say 40% is a big match, but 60% is a lot of free money.
Exactly.
So, and I don't want to say free money because I know it's not free money either.
Right.
Somebody's paying for that, but there's a lot of funding out there every single year for this sort of thing. And I think it's a waste if we're not seeking it.
Right. And
Joy, I'm sorry to interrupt. Could you repeat how much the estimate is for that project along Meineke?
Jason, if I'm not wrong, it's over $400,000 just for the sidewalk on one side of the street.
Yeah, it's a previous estimate that Bob Galati had put together, and there's wetlands there, and there's a retaining wall that's like 6 or so feet tall. It's right. There's a water quality facility there as well. So it's quite a bit of grading, and it's just not a straightforward.
Would
building.
it be on the bridge there?
No,
Does it
it's past that. If you
Past the
go,
bridge?
yeah, to the,
Yeah.
I guess, south of that,
Mhm.
on the north side of Meineke.
Okay. And then sorry, I had one other question. Is that project in the CIP list already, or it is?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So potentially some of that match could come from our CIP budgets?
Perhaps, yeah. STCs, things like that, because there's no sidewalk there currently. So yeah, there could be a combination of funding for that.
Right, it also has to move up in regards to a priority for council.
Yeah.
To help it move ahead. But at least, our city manager has informed me that he's drafting resolutions as far as the partnership. I can definitely let Sabrina know when that's going to be up at council, and testimony towards, in favor of that is always, great to have, just because then it reinforces, the connection that we would have with the school district and how it ties to, city.
Well, I think it's exciting that you're playing that role, and hopefully it comes fruitful. It's some improvements done.
Yes, so if anything, there's all of these different elements of Safe Routes to School, and one of them is engagement. So at least I know that we've started that. But the ultimate goal is identifying, working with each. We start with elementary schools and identifying where the needs are. As far as, to increase active transportation, meaning walking, biking, or rolling to school. So, and hopefully that will be in the near future.
You probably already know this, but there's also, I believe, grants for Safe Routes to School planning.
Yes, programmatic, yes.
So you can maybe do that, find a way to get that sort of effort done. That would really support the funding, backing, and then future applications.
Yeah, typically it's even smaller jurisdictions than Sherwood that may not have the planning staff and the capacity. But that definitely is something we should consider. Again, there's funds available. We just have to go after.
Anybody else have any questions? Sorry, I kind of sidetracked the introductions there. All right, so next on the agenda is the final SWOT report review. Is there anything you wanted to point out or say, or it's just in there, and if someone has a comment?
Yeah, I think that last meeting we had in October, sorry, not November. I think we hammered it out pretty good. I think the points were good. I wasn't able to make it to the meeting banquet. We have at the end of the year, but
Jason did great.
Winged it.
So, I think just to reiterate one thing, I'm hopeful that as we go through each of these complaints this year, one of the nice things of being in this environment now and out of that other one is that hopefully we have some more technology here to be able to bring things up on the screens, and I'm sure we'll work through it and get better each month, but it'd be nice to be able to visualize for some of this. Sometimes it's kind of, speak for myself, sometimes it's hard to say, okay, there's a car on the north side when they're going east, and you're like, okay, where are we talking about exactly? I'd love to see us be able to kind of step to that next level on that one point we had on the report. Just to make sure that when we're making decisions as a group and we are trying to help you, give you information that you can have a good visualization of what we're trying to do. We're talking about it.
Do you have any thoughts on that one? Agenda item? Okay, thank you.
That or I do charades for you and I don't think.
Okay, we'll move on to the traffic safety requests. Starting with so this is the parking overflow issue. You want to summarize the situation and
Sure. So this is a traffic safety complaint that came into us just in regards to talking about the new high school and traffic related to that. And Jason, feel free to chime in if I'm missing something on this, but the complaint is talking about the traffic as it's leaving the school. So at the end of the school day, and the traffic jam that's happening on Aid, which is the feeder road where Sabrina's kind of just pointing to up there, right there. So the complaint is talking about how traffic gets backed up all the way along Cade. And for those that, and that are progressing out to Elwood to leave the school. And the complaint is talking about the fact that if you're coming from the residential's, off there to the left on the screen, off to the west, that you're kind of stuck in a long line of traffic all the way back to where that field is in the back, top northwest corner there. So they're just talking about how it's just so hard to kind of progress to Elwood due to the traffic.
I also have a little bit of additional like second comment on that, and maybe you've seen this as well. But along Hayde, when students come there, or when parents come to pick up students, they turn around and then they line up all along that curb right there, along the parking lot and the field, facing.
Facing east on the
East.
south side of the.
Yes, and so, which I used to be one to go in the parking lot, but now I have drivers, so. The kids then, or students that come from that back parking lot and turn the corner and turn right on Hayde. I think it's a visibility issue, because then they're driving alongside an entire row of cars. While there's cars pulling out of that main parking lot.
And there's room for the cars to be parked on the side of the road like that? Or they're just.
They're making room.
Oh, okay.
They're not parking, they're sitting, right,
Which
but.
is a violation of state statute.
Yeah, but, and I just feel like there's, as the cars pull out of that main parking lot, there's just a lot of, it's a lot for a teenager to navigate, an adult as well, but teenagers are just.
So just to clarify, because like we're just talking about verbalizing versus seeing, Sabrina's doing a great job of typing, so. Wish I could get that to go down.
It's sort of a dual problem.
So basically, what we end up having is at the end of the school day, the complaint is saying that traffic here along Hayde is all backed up all the way up here to Elwood. And that for people that are living down in this area, as they come here, it's backed up often all the way from here, at this point, all the way to Elwood. And then to go to your point, what you're saying, tell me if I get it wrong. But like you're saying, and we as law enforcement see this, is that we have cars that then either come this way at the end of school day, parents or others, make a U-turn and then they park right along here to have their students walk out from the school out to them as opposed to trying to get in the parking lot. Summarized correctly?
Yes.
Okay. The other piece that we would like to add to this complaint, because it is they're accurate in regards to what they're talking about when this complaint came in, is that we as law enforcement are seeing. Can I get this to reduce, remove? Can I just drag it? Oh, boy.
I think if you hover over the bar, if the bar pops up, yeah,
There
then
you
you can drag it. When you get the black part. Or reduce it. Yeah.
Hopefully. Jason, you still able to see us? And then.
And then if you want them back, if you click the thing back over there with all the tiles, it should show them back.
I'll leave that.
There you go.
Okay. So the other issue that we'd like to address with this, because it's all encapsulated together, is the aspect of traffic that's coming to the school in the morning as well. So the complaint specifically is addressing the leaving, but I think we're full of funds if we don't address the full picture, which is also the coming to school. So what we're experiencing and seeing in our analysis of this is that, and as I'm sure many of you have seen, experienced as well, is that you have traffic that's traveling on Elwood southbound, and they're needing to turn onto Hayde to get into the main school lot to drop people off. We also have vehicles. You have vehicles coming from 99 down here through the traffic circle. They're coming up Elwood and they're needing to make a left-hand turn onto Hayde to then be able to get in here to drop off people as well, students. And our experience that we're seeing is that we're seeing at peak times, we're seeing traffic that is backed up quite frequently all the way down here to the traffic circle, if not through the traffic circle and out to 99. And then the other piece of this is that for the traffic that's trying to come southbound on Elward down here, they're having to turn on here and that traffic is backing up. And Chris, can you help me on how far back that's typically? Is it all the way back to like
It's
Hanley?
anywhere between Hanley and Simon Terrace back down to Earthly.
So quite a distance all the way back to the intersection of Hanley here. And so in essence, what's occurring that we're noticing is that traffic on Elward is in essence unable to operate and move, or not able to move traffic until such time as the school has started at 8:30 in the morning, at which point it evaporates. At that point, we're back to motion. But for the city of Sherwood, we kind of identify the fact, as you well know, that for anyone who's either working in or commuting through our city, if you're having to travel northbound through our city, you have two main ways to do that, and that's going to be Elward to get you pushing on north throughout the county and Beaverton, those for other places, or going all the way to Roy Rogers near Safeway there, addressing the down Roy Rogers to get with them. With clogging this the way it is, we have very difficult time moving cars.
So is this sort of question, is it a safety issue or inconvenience issue?
It's in our opinion, it's both. Safety issue for emergency vehicles getting through. It's a congestion issue that's problematic as well. So first off, I think let's address the actual complaint first, which was, I think that's the most important. We have a citizen who's talking specifically about the issue of the end of the day. Chris Pierce, who, for those that maybe don't know, Chris is our assigned traffic enforcement officer. That's his pretty much sole purpose, is to work traffic enforcement for our city. And so he's very in tune with the traffic needs. Not that not all officers are, but other officers are servicing calls, and Chris is dealing with traffic as his primary focus. So Chris and our SRO have done analysis here. It's limited at this point. We need to do more analysis. But for the leaving at the end of the day, they also agree with the complainant that they see that Haight is completely backed up and waiting for the light to change to be able to turn left or be able to turn right onto Elwood. The complainant's issues are correct, and that the cars that are parked along here is an issue as well. Now, we as the police department, as Officer Pierce mentioned,
That's not good.
so better talk fast. For the cars that are just pulling over and parking, that's something that us as the police department can continue to address in regards to, warnings and then enforcement as well in regards to those people that are doing that. We also feel that there can be a benefit to the fact that there is no parking signs along Cade on this south side, on the inside school edge. So there's no signage there to indicate no parking along there. So we see that as a potential thing for any of the committee to think about and talk about. In regards to traffic that's coming inbound in the morning, same thing. The way the pattern is set up currently with the school is that the primary drop off for people is at the front doors of the school. So cars that are coming onto Haight are turning into the school here, and are pulling up here to drop off. For those students that are driving and that can park, there's senior parking, some senior parking is my understanding. Here in the front lots, we have some cars coming in here as well that are needing to get in here. And then the other parking is for people to come down Haight onto the back access road here and to the student parking that's primarily all at the back. Now, with that said, there is an ability to have vehicles come into the traffic circle, take Kruger around the backside of the school, be able to access these parking lots. If the gate that is here for the school district was open, that gate there's a gate that's closed. And the school should speak on the reasons, but to our understanding, it's primarily to try to have a clean path of travel for the buses. So the buses are the ones that come in here through Kruger, back access through the gate. They then come to this access road right here. They travel along the inside path here to the front of the school area to do their drop off. They then loop back out, same path out here and back up to Kruger. They don't have obviously any school traffic that's that they're having around them, since there's the only access for people really is up, like we said, on Hayden. With that said, we do have recommendations that the police department can provide to the school and talk to in regards to potential ideas that could help kind of disperse 99% of the traffic from all having to come in on Hayde into trying to divide traffic coming in multiple ways to the school, try to alleviate some of the traffic issues. At this time, I think what we would like to do is we'd like to spend from now until our next meeting doing more analysis. From the time this complaint came into us, we've been able to do some, but we'd like it to be more comprehensive for every day of the week, and is there patterns and what are we seeing? So that's kind of where we're at on that.
So before we start talking potential solutions, does anybody have like clarifying questions for staff?
Situation, with the bus is the same in the afternoon when they're leaving. Where do they pick their kids up?
They do. They come in off of Kruger Road, up through this back access into where the buses pull in here for kids to be picked up and then back out.
So see this person's recommendation of opening the gate. Is probably not the right to go.
It is one of our recommendations would be for that. Like I said, I'd like us to get more of a comprehensive understanding of the traffic issue fully, but that concept is definitely one. Now, with anything, there's pros and cons, right? And so that'd be something that we'd have to talk with the district in regards to what those cons are, and in regards to opening that up to some vehicle traffic of students and people dropping people off to come in that way, and see if we can mitigate those negative cons to doing that, and see if they'd even be willing to look at that or other options too. Officer Pierce and the others have come up with a couple ideas in regards to how to try to increase better traffic flow in and out.
So numbers, do you know how many students are allowed to drive their vehicles to school, seniors? How's that?
We don't have that info. I can find that out.
Juniors, seniors, and part of sophomores who are old enough now.
My son will be getting his license next month. He's a sophomore.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a cap. I would assume our observations, our general observations is that these primary parking lots for the students at the back of the school, this one and this one, are not full. So there's a lot of space back there. I think that's probably for expansion reasons, I assume. Growth.
Do you know how many, or find out how many students do drive their vehicles?
Yeah, I don't have that, but we can find that out.
Bigger issue really is how many parents are dropping students off and not letting their kids take the bus. That's the biggest issue. It's mostly parents that are coming in and getting stuck. So you have hundreds and hundreds in the morning. So my wife goes through it every morning, dropping my son and our exchange student off. And if they don't leave early enough, that's a very big mess.
Yeah. Dorian's correct. It's really not an issue of the number of kids that are coming to school and parking in those back lots. The biggest issue is in the morning is the number of cars that are coming in to drop students off at the front door. And the main process for that is coming in through the main entrance of the school off Hay, coming here, pulling up here, right in this stretch right here, and dropping your child off, then driving back out and trying to get on Hay. So you're pushing a huge portion of the vehicle traffic into this loop only. And like I said, you don't have a lot of students that are filling these lots, so it's not really the primary issue. As Dorian said, it is more of the drop off concept. So the ideas that I think eventually would be recommended would be trying to recommend something that would encourage drop off to be occurring at the somewhere else at the back of the school back here.
Another question, I mean, do these students that are being dropped off, do they have an option of using buses?
Probably not I would assume so, but not really an arena I'm gonna get into, and I don't think it'll be anything that we'll do analysis on. Free country, free rules, do what you want. So I don't think we're gonna try to recommend anything in regards to the aspect of that more people should be on buses. We fully support from the police department's perspective, however you want to get to school, that's what works for your family is what's best. Our perspective of analysis and recommendation will be to give something that articulates, hey, instead of pushing the bulk into this entry point only, what can we do to disperse that drop off to other locations?
I mean, citizens are paying for those buses.
I think we might need to pause the meeting.
So we're having technical difficulties. I have to end the live stream. And after that, we can do a brief intermission, we can figure out what's going on, we can start up again. Does that sound good?
Round two,
Sorry about that, everybody.
it's the sequel.
Donuts?
That's kind of sound good,
Seriously, where's the trees? If there's no trees in this meeting.
We stopped eating donuts years
Yeah.
ago.
Bagels
Bagels only.